We in some ways are the real social safety net of America when the other things don't work. So a lot of faith communities, both for that reason and because it's in our traditions, have been dealing with issues of poverty and economic justice for years and years and years, going back as long as there's been faith communities. Of course, a lot has been talked about what are the goals of the Occupy Wall Street movement. There's a lot of things that are on the table. There's a lot of things that are talked about. I think that's okay for now. All of them reflect a central reality that started to occur in our country, or maybe has always been there on some level, where our system of representative government no longer really functions like a democracy. It's big business. We run more like a plutocracy in some sense. And so when the people are taken out of the decisions that directly impact their lives, and that's everyone's issue on some level. And that expresses itself through countless little, through immigration, which we work on a lot. It works itself through homelessness issues and jobs and pension. But I think the spirit of Occupy Wall Street, to restore that direct people's mic, to really say these are behind all these little issues is one big issue about something that's wrong, that's 100% exactly what the church's job is to do. And as a Christian in particular, I would say that this is at the core of what our tradition actually is. It's one thing for us to talk about these things in our private Sabbath country clubs and to hold on to them as some sort of ritualistic repeating of ancient data, but for these things to really live as Holy Spirit, we all believe, and it's in our scriptures, that these things must be poured out like living water in action to real people. It only takes a quick read of the Bible to realize how central this is to our tradition. And I would make the reverse challenge. I would say that any faith community that isn't out there supporting the nature of what this is, I would argue, how are we really with authenticity, reflecting these traditions of justice and of compassion? Christianity, Jesus names himself. He says, if you want to serve me, serve them. Serve all of them. That's where you'll find me. And I take that very, very seriously.
We think they're important issues. They're the things that we've been talking about in the churches for centuries. For years and years, we want to raise these things up. We know that God cares about the situation of the poorest of God's children. We know that God is with the 99%. The goals of the Occupy Wall Street movement and the Occupy movement across the country, really it's to raise awareness, to raise the conversation, to get people talking about the things that we stopped talking about there for a while, to talk about who the economy is structured to serve. For the last several decades, it seems like the system has been set up to benefit a particular small slice of the population. And we're just saying, with them, it's not right. That's not the way things should be. I think that people should search their hearts and think about what really matters to them, what it's about to be a human, what it's about to be a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Jain. What's at the core of their faith? And I think if we look to the core of our faith, we see that what really matters is how we treat other people.
People are in crisis, they've lost their homes, they don't know where their next meal is coming from, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they're here in this square to say enough is enough. And as people of faith, we hear that. We also think enough is enough. The people in our pews are the 99%. People in our churches and our synagogues and our temples have a lot of needs, and a lot of them are being addressed by this occupation. And so as people of faith who are serving our people, we need to be here. We need to be on the streets. We need to get out from behind our pulpits and march alongside all of these occupiers.